Am I audible? Everybody?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. This is my data. I want to create a data set. Tell me the program, what you will write.
Data.
Data. Data set name.
Data name.
Okay. Tell me what is the program that you will write.
In file.
Okay. In file.
In file. Okay.
Data lines.
Okay.
Input.
Input.
ID number.
ID number.
Name. Age.
Age.
Salary.
Salary. Date of birth.
Date of joining, DOJ.
Date of joining.
ID, name, dollar symbol.
Date.
Name, dollar symbol.
Data.
Sex, dollar symbol.
Okay.
Dollar symbol.
In format.
Okay. In format.
DOB.
DOB.
$9. $9. Salary.
Salary.
First salary.
Salary.
How much?
How much?
Dollar.
How much is that?
$6. DDMM.
DDMM.
$10.
Through normal messages.
Format.
Yes.
Then what should I do?
Format, sir.
Format.
Format.
Date of
Salary.
birth, DOB,
DOB.
date 9,
Date.
or E8601 DA dot.
Date of joining.
సార్ డిఓపి శాలరీ పెట్టాలి కదా.
What should I do?
సార్ ఫార్మాట్ లో శాలరీ కూడా
DOJ,
$6 DOJ, date 9. Date 9.
DDMM
Date,
$10
Date 9. Anything you can.
by $10.
DDMM Semi.
And salary,
ఫార్మాట్
$5. Salary.
data lines.
సార్ ఫార్మాట్ లో శాలరీ మర్చిపోయారు.
So salary.
అవసరం లేదనుకోండి.
ఫార్మాట్ అప్లై చేయకపోతే ఎట్లా వస్తుంది? రావాలంటే ఫార్మాట్ అప్లై చేయాలి కదా.
Then you guys are practicing or not? Everybody practicing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Only hardly 3-4 members in the class is only speaking. What about the others?
Yes, sir. We are practicing.
Okay. What is this dollar symbol and what is this comma 6 dot and what is this date 9 dot? What is this DDMMY by 10 dot?
Informants.
What is informate?
Tradable fund.
What is informate?
It is a system.
Depend.
What is
non-standard,
informate?
Specifying.
Non-standard data into standard.
Come again?
It is a special instruction that will give a SAS to read non-standard data into SAS as a standard data.
Very good. So when we have a raw data, what do you mean by raw data?
Fat files like Excel test files.
CRF sheets.
Raw data CRF sheet.
That means text files, flat files.
So it's
Anybody?
instant.
Raw data means in-stream data.
Stream data and text.
So raw data, if you have a raw data or in-stream data, this is called raw data or in-stream data. If you take data directly within the SAS, we call it as a raw data or in-stream data. And sometimes if you get the data, if you may get the data in a text files. When the data is present in stream or text file data, there is a chance of getting non-standard data. So when we have a non-standard data, we should read the data into SAS. To read the data into SAS, we have to use some special instruction. Now, whatever the special instruction that we are using, what you call it as that is called as an informat. So why we are using informat? Informat we use to read the data into SAS. Because I may have in a text file or in stream data, I may have value 5 comma 000. I may have value $5 comma 000. I may have value 23%. I may have 10th September 2001. I may have, say for example, 12 o'clock, 19 minutes and 39 seconds. And sometimes I may have a daytime values. According to SAS, this is non-standard data. SAS cannot understand if you have a data in this way, particularly when we have this data in the raw data or a text file. In that scenario, to read this data, we need to help the SAS to understand this data. And whatever that special instruction that you are giving to help the SAS to read the data, and that is called as an informat. I hope you guys can remember that informats. We have 5 different types of informats. You remember it or not? We have an informat called a character informats, and we have numerical informats. We have numerical informats. We have date time informats, and then we have a user defined informats. Can you recollect what are the character informats that we discussed?
Dollar.
We have discussed a variable dollar symbol, and we have discussed variable dollar width data, and we discussed variable dollar char width data. These are the formats we discussed. And sometimes you may get the numerical non-standard data. To read the data, we have seen comma w.d. We have seen percent w.d, and we have seen dollar w.d. And to read the daytime value, so when we have a date value, we should use depends upon the date. We are going to write a date 9 dot. We are going to write dd mm by 10 dot, and we are going to have y by mm dd 10 dot. And if you cannot understand, we have any dd dot. So we have so many different types of information. Okay, and in the same way, if you have a time along with the seconds, we have a time 8 dot. Without seconds, we have a time 5 dot. And if you have a daytime together, we have a daytime dot, or daytime 18 dot, or 20 dot, whatever the format we can get. All these are called informats. Okay. Now just imagine I have a value 0. I want to read this data into SAS as a female. I have a value 1. I want to read this data into SAS M. Tell me what is the informat I should write.
In value.
What is the informat I should use? Naresh.
Sir.
I can appreciate you. At least you are saying something.
By creating a new variable.
You are not practicing and you are recollecting and telling. Yes.
Proc format.
We do not have a such informator. Now we should create our own informat. Nobody is practicing. A class of 100 members, nobody is practicing. And this is not what I'm expecting from you guys. By this time, how many hours you should practice? In a day, you should practice at least 6 hours. At least 6 hours. Trust me, I told you in the starting, if you are not practicing for 4 to 5 days, you'll lose everything. You'll come to 0. I'm taking so much time, I'm explaining very slowly. even though some of you might think that like the course is very slow and I'm taking a lot of time to explain each and every concept, but you guys are not practicing it. It's going to be waste of our time, your time, and anybody's time. So do you want me to finish it as early as possible? We completed all these tasks, complete, all these topics. When you have completed, at least when I'm saying, at least you should respond. Some of you guys are responding, that's great, but still it is not precise. You are recollecting and you are telling that what you can recollect. This is not how we are not kids. We are doing this to get a job. That is our ultimate goal. No. In the raw data have a 0, I want to read that as an F. If the raw data have a 1, I want to read that as an M. To do that one, we do not have any default system defined information. Since we do not have any such kind of information available in SAS system, what we should do, we should create our own information. If you create our own information, we call it as a user-defined information. How to create a user-defined information? If you want to create a user-defined information, we use a procedure called proc format. We use a procedure called proc format. In the proc format procedure, now we use a statement called in value. In value is statement is useful to create a user-defined information. Now, in this scenario, say for example, if you want to change, say for example, if I have a value, so 1 and this is coming as in a 0, and this is coming as an again 0, and this is coming as in a 1, and this is coming as in a 0. So I want to change 1 as M, 0 as an F. Then what we should do in value, and this is in a sex variable. I'm reading it as a character variable. So I should create a user-defined character informator, write a dollar symbol. And I told you, you can write any name, whatever thing that you require, that you want. Whatever the informant name you want, you can write it. I want to have informant name gender. I'm writing gender. Then what we should do, old value is equal to new value. What is our old value? My old value is 1. Now 1 is equal to how I want to have? I want to have is, say, for example, capital M. If the old value is, if the old value is 1, I want to have it as a capital M. If the old value is 0, I want to have it as a, say, for example, capital F. Capital F. Now, close the parenthesis, semicolon. Now write the run statement. And I told you, this is how we create a user-defined informator. When I execute the program, this informator will be get created in a separate, catalog folder called formats. So this is a default one, and it is a catalog folder. In this formats catalog folder, it will create a user-defined informator called gen. If you want to see that one, open the formats folder, open the gen. This is the informator I created. How do you know this is informator? If we open this one, now we can see here, we have informator. What is the name of the informator I created? At $gen. And the length 1 because I have taken zeros and ones. So now number of values 2 because I have taken M and F. Minimum length is only 1. Maximum length is default 40. And the default length is, 40. Default length here we have 1. And we do not have any decimal values. So fuzzing value is 0. And we have a start and end. We have the start value or end value is 0. How I want to have? I want to have it as an F. If the value is 1, I want to have it as an M. So this is how we create a user-defined informats. Now, if we want to use this informant, where we can use this in the informat statement, or otherwise we can write directly in the input statement. So I want to apply that in the information statement for which variable I created this one. I want to use it for the sex variable, sex dollar. What the informator I created gender dot. Now select the program and execute the program. Now, if I open the data set, now go to that work library, open the DS1 data set. Now, can you see how we have the sex values? In the data, we have 0 and 1, but in the data now we have, in the data set, we have a capital F and capital F. And this is how we create a user-defined informat. First of all, explain me what is an informat. Informat is a special instruction. Informat is a special instruction that we use to read, non-standard data into SAS as standard data. Sometimes whatever the informats or formats whatever information that you require, that may not be available. In that scenario, we are going to create a user-defined informat. And I told you at the starting, to read is a very important word. So that means from in-stream data or textual data, if you want to read the data into SAS, we should use informat. Clear, everybody? And again, I want to apply, comma 6 dot. No, I'm writing a comma 6 dot, or if I write the $6 dot, what will happen now? It will apply a format dollar symbol. But if I write a $7 dot, it will apply the comma symbol and dollar symbol both. If I write again, say for example, if I write, word date 30 dot, 20 dot, it will apply the same format, whatever the format that I had given. And I want to have week date 30 dot. Now here I'm writing, so for example, week date 30 dot. So all these formats are available in SAS system. Whenever I want to, I can use it. What is a format? A format is useful to display the data into output data set. Format is a special instruction. Format is a special instruction that we use to write the data into output data set. It is a special instruction that we use to write the data into output data set. And now I will tell you how to do. What is that one? Say for example, I am creating a class data set, class 1 data set from SAS help.class. Okay. While I'm creating this one, how we have sex values in the class one, in the class SAS help.class? Anybody? In the SAS help.class, we are going to have sex values as F and capital M. What do you mean by SAS help.class? The SAS help.class is an already existing data set in a library. That means already data present in the PDV. Now, whatever the data that we have in the PDV, I want to copy the data into class 1. So that means here already we have a data set. From that existing data set, I'm creating a new data set. Now, since already we have a data in the PDV, that means already we got the data into SAS. So now I want to display in a particular way. If you want to display in a particular way, now what we should do to display that in a particular non-standard way, we should apply the format. Now, I want to display F as a female and M as a male. Then what should I do now? I should apply the format. చూడండి ఇన్ఫర్మాట్ ఎప్పుడు యూజ్ చేస్తామంటే ఇన్స్ట్రీమ్ డేటా కానీ టెక్స్చువల్ డేటాని నుంచి డేటా సెట్ క్రియేట్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఇన్ఫర్మాట్ అని. మరి ఫార్మాట్ ఎప్పుడు యూజ్ చేస్తాం? ఆల్రెడీ డేటా ఉండి if you are creating a new data set from that data set, then we use format. Now, I want display F as a female, M as a male. Do we have a such format available in SAS? No. Since such kind of format is not available, what we should do? We should create our own format. Now, how to create your own format? Again, if you want to create your own format, we use a procedure called proc format. And by the way, before writing this format, now can you explain me? Now you have understanding. If I want to, if we have a sex value F, I want to have it as a female. If the sex value is M, I want to have it as a male. What is your approach? What you will do? What you will do?
Value equal value.
No, I do not want to apply the format. Do you have any other solution?
X is equal to
If Sx is equal to F, then if
No, you cannot use where option. Where option you choose, you cannot change the
Hmm.
how to rename it. Very good. By using an if condition, we can do that. Tell me how we can do that one by using if condition.
if Sex is
Sex equal to
If sex is equal to F, then sex is equal
X is equal
it is
to
equal to
capital
female.
F. If capital F, then sex is equal to how we want to.
female.
Now, else if sex is equal to
If sex is equal to capital M, then sex equal to male.
Somebody said we use where, we cannot use where. When we use where, we cannot change the variable values. Now see, very good. You know why? Because the sex variable length is only one. Since we have only one length, it will not display all the thing. Then what we should do? We should write the length statement. Where we should write the length statement?
before the set statement.
Very good.
Before
Before the sex statement. Now I am writing the length statement. I am going to write a sex variable. It is a character variable dollar symbol. How much length you want to have, you can specify. Now select
6 dot.
how much you want to have, you can specify. Since I specified the 10, now the length is going to be 10. Now we have enough length. We have fit. Someone,
So, but here also the value is changing also.
yes, I will tell you. If you write if condition, the change in value is permanent. Okay, the value is going to get changed permanently. But I want to do the same thing in a different way. Now data, I am creating a class 2 data set. I am creating this data set from the sample class. Okay. Now I'm not going to use if condition. I want to use some other method. What is that method? So to display F as a female, M as a male, I want to use a format. Since we do not have a such format, I am going to create my own format. If you want to create your own format, what is the procedure we should write? Proc format. In the proc format, what the statement we should write now? We should write a statement called that. Now, I'm going to apply this for sex variable. Sex is a character variable dollar symbol. Now, whatever the format name you want to, you can write it. Now, what is the original value? Capital F. How I want to display that one? I want to display it as a female. If the original value is capital M, I want to display it as a
Male.
male. Now I'm going to write the male. Now keep a semicolon. Now write the run statement. Okay. Now select the program and execute it. Now we have a user-defined format. And where this format will get created? In a catalog folder called formats. In there, can you see? Here we have a format called 6. How do you know this is a format? Open that format. Can you see here we have a format name, $6, length 6, because we have taken the female, and we have two values, and minimum length and maximum length, default and 6. No fuzzing values. If the starting value or ending value F, I want display it as a female. If it is M, I want display it as a male. Okay. Now, how to apply the format? If you want to apply the format, we should write a statement called format statement. For which variable we want to apply this format?
Sex variable.
What is the format? Sex dot.
$6.
Now select the program and execute the program. Now we are going to have a class 2 data set.
Females and males.
This is class 2. Now, can you see how F and M is displaying?
Females and males.
Now, what is the difference between writing an if condition and applying a format?
Change the value. Here the value.
If you use an if condition, the change is permanent. It is going to make the change permanent. But if you apply a format, this is only temporary display. We are going to have sex values in the class in the backend. In the backend, the sex values are going to be only capital F and capital M only. Because can you see what is the length that I have? What is the length we
One.
have for sex variable? One. That
One,
means how much
one.
in the backend?
One
In the backend, we have values capital F and capital M. So whatever the male and female that we are displaying here, this is only temporary display. అదే నేను ఇఫ్ కండిషన్ రాశాను అనుకోండి, ఇఫ్ కండిషన్ ఏం చేస్తుంది? పర్మనెంట్ గా చేంజ్ చేసేస్తుందండి. విచ్ వన్ ఇస్ బెటర్? There is no such thing. If you want to make a change permanent, we will go with if condition. If you do not want to make change permanent, if you want to have only for the display purpose, what you will do? You will apply the format. అంటే మీకు చేంజ్ పర్మనెంట్ గా కావాలంటే ఇఫ్ కండిషన్ రాసుకోవాలి. నాకు ఓన్లీ టెంపరీగా డిస్ప్లే అయితే చాలు అనుకుంటే కనుక ఏం రాస్తామండి? ఇప్పుడు మనం ఏం అప్లై చేస్తాం? వి అప్లై ద ఫార్మాట్. బట్ యు నో వాట్ ఇస్ ద అడ్వాంటేజ్ విత్ ద ఫార్మాట్? Whatever the format that you created here at $6, you can use that repeatedly. అంటే మళ్ళీ ఫ్యూచర్ నాకు సేమ్ డేటా వచ్చింది అనుకోండి. Understand what I'm saying? If you have the same data in future again, we can use the same format again. And if you create a format one time, you can use that format again and again. Understand this one? So session close చేస్తే క్లోజ్ అయిపోతుంది. ఎందుకు క్లోజ్ అయిపోతుంది? ఎందుకు డిలీట్ అయిపోతుంది? Since we have saved our formats in work library. That's why I told you we can use this one repeatedly. If you want to use this repeatedly, where we should have this one now? We are going to save in future in a user-defined library, so that whenever you want to, you can use it. By default, it will be saved in the work library, but in future, we will save in our library so that whenever you want to, you can recall it. See, say for example, I created a format called $6, right? Now see, I want to print saself.class. Now I'm writing proc print data is equal to saself. If I do the normal print like this one, you know how the sex values will print? Saself.class sex values ఎలా ఉంటాయండి?
Female,
Yep. Display, I display as a female and male. If you want to display it as a male and female, then what I should do? Now I'm going to use a format. For which variable? X variable. What is the format I created? $6.
$6.
See, if I select the program, I execute the program. Now see, yes, F is printing as a female and M is printing as a male. Now say for example, again I want to create a new data set called demo. And I'm creating this from, saself.class. Again, I want to apply format for sex variable $6. How many times you create data set? Every time you can use the same format again, repetitively within the session, across the sessions. Sampath.
Sir.
Lot of background noise from your side. Now, I can use this same format again and again, and I can use across the sessions, but whatever the format I created, you can also use it. If I give this format to you, you can also use it. So that's in the real time, if you are working as a SAS programmer, if you have 10 members of your team, only one person in the team will create all the required formats for the project and they will keep in a folder. Now, whoever working in the team, whenever they require that format, they will go to that folder, they will create a library, and they will use whatever the format they want to, they will use it. Because in the real time, if you are writing a same format again and again, it will take a lot of time. So only one person in the team will create all the user-defined formats, and everybody in the team, in the project, will use that one. Understand this one? So there is no inherent things like, wrong or right with if condition, where condition. If you want to make change permanently, we will go with if condition. If you do not want to have a permanent change, if you want to have only for display, we will go with the proc format. And what is the problem with if condition? If you started writing if condition, every time you should write if condition. Whenever you have the same data again you should write if condition. Because if condition works only for the data set. మళ్ళీ సేమ్ అలాంటి డేటా మళ్ళీ వచ్చింది అనుకోండి, మళ్ళీ మీరు ఇఫ్ కండిషన్ రాయాలి. That is called hard coding. In the real time, you should not do hard coding. Create a universal format. Use whenever you want to have that format.
A folder ఎట్లా సేవ్ చేస్తాం సార్ ఫార్మాట్?
I will show that one. That's what we are learning today and tomorrow about the proc format. Okay. First, we'll create a user-defined format, and then we'll save in a permanent library. And we'll see that later how to recall that formats once we have saved in a permanent library.
Sir,
Clear,
and
everyone?
when,
Yes.
sir, when we are using in value, my doubt is that we are saving in the, we are actually changing, I mean, saving in the format that we want in the SAS
Yes.
system. That means we are changing the original values.
So in format, make the change permanent. Format is only for the temporary display.
Okay, sir.
And you may get it out where that format will work, where the format will work, right? So for example, I have in-stream data, okay? Or I have, say, for example, text file data. You are reading this data into SAS. I told you we are going to have a backend processor. First, we are going to read this data into input buffer. And then from that input buffer, the data will go to PDB. Okay? And after the PDB, and of course, we are going to have descriptor area, and there we are going to have metadata. From the PDB, now the data will be get displayed into output data set. This is what we can see in work library or any library. Now, where this informative will work, when we are reading the data from in-stream data into input buffer, here the format will work. And where the format will work, when you are displaying the data, or when you're printing the data from the PDB into data set, here the format will work. So format will work when you're reading the data from text file or in-stream data into the input buffer, and then the data will later go to PDB. When you're displaying from the PDB into the output data set, where we apply the format. Understand? And I told you, format generally why we use to read the data into SAS, and the format why we use to write the data into output data set. Understand this one? So then we are discussing, in today's class, whatever the formats or information that you require that may not be available in the SAS system. In that scenario, we create a user-defined information formats. To create a user-defined information formats, what is the procedure that we use? Proc format. Now, how we can define the proc format? What is the purpose of proc format is useful to create, to create user-defined informats, and formats. Only this one, okay? But we can also use proc format, to print the information present in the catalog folder. So here I'm creating a user-defined formats in a folder, right? Formats folder, right? This is a catalog folder. Whatever the information that we have here, if you want to print that information, we use a proc format procedure. Not only that one, whatever the user-defined information format that we have in the format folder, okay? To dump that information, or to dump the info present in the catalog folder, into a data set. అంటే ఈ ఫార్మాట్స్ ఫోల్డర్ ఏవైతే ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఫార్మాట్స్ ఉన్నాయో ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఒక డేటా సెట్ లోపల కావాలండి. So to get all that information into a data set, we use a procedure called again proc format. So a proc format procedure is useful to create a user-defined information format. In addition, we can also use to print the contents of a catalog, and we also use this one to save all the contents of a catalog into a data set. Now, in proc format procedure, we use 3 statements. The first statement is called in value. Why we use the in value statement, anybody? We use in value statement to create user-defined information. Create user-defined information. We use in value statement. And then we have a statement called value. And maybe today or tomorrow's class, we are going to see one more statement called picture. And value statement, picture statement are useful to create user defined formats. So in value is to create a format, value and picture statement is useful to create a user defined format. So this is what we are learning in today's class. Clear, everybody? Now, we'll create a few user-defined formats. Have you ever seen age variable in the SAS self-guided class? Anybody? Age values in the age variable of SAS self-guided class?
11,
11, 12, 13.
11 to 16. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now, I do not want to have an 11 or a 12. If the values are 11 or a 12, I want to have an eng. 13, 14, middle, 15, 16, adult. Again, if I ask you, నాకు 11 నుంచి 12 దాకా ఉంటే కనుక నాకు యంగ్ అని కావాలి, ఓకేనా? 13 to 14 ఉంటే కనుక నాకు మిడిల్ అని కావాలి, సారీ. If it is in a 13 to 14, I want to have in a middle, okay? If it is in a 15 to 16, I want to have it as an adult. నేను ఇలా అడిగాను అనుకోండి, again you have two choices. One is you can use if condition, and another one is create a user-defined format, use that user-defined format. Again, if you want to make the change permanently, use if condition. But if you want to have only for the temporary display, if you want to use it repetitively, create a user-defined format and use that format. Understand this one? Now I want to have it for the temporary display purpose, so then how we can do that one? Already we have a SAS class, so I should apply a format. If you want to apply a user-defined format, you should create a user-defined format by using a procedure called proc format. Then you should use a statement called value. Now, I want to use this format for age variable. Age is a numerical variable, so you no need to write a dollar symbol. Now, whatever the format you want to, now we can. I want to have my format name age group. Then tell me what we should do.
Old value is equal to
11 to 12.
Age group
With the quotation.
11 to 12 equal.
11,
If you have 11, you can write
11.
end. And again, 12 is also what I want to have end. You know, when we have a
End.
multiple, you don't need it separately. What we can do, now we can write a range of values specifying left side the lowest value, and right side the highest value of the range. లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ ఎప్పుడు లోవర్ వాల్యూ ఉండాలండి, రైట్ సైడ్ ఎప్పుడు కూడా ఉండాలండి హైయెస్ట్ వాల్యూ ఉండాలి. ఇలా రేంజ్ తీసుకున్నప్పుడు మధ్యలో ఐఫన్ ఉండాలి. ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు, నౌ ఐ వాంట్ టు హ్యావ్ యంగ్, నౌ రైట్ యంగ్. In the same statement, in the second line, I'm writing if the value is 13 to 14 is equal to how I want to have. I want to have it as an
Middle.
sorry, I want to the value is from 15 to 16 is equal to I want to have an adult. Finally keep a semicolon. Now write the run statement. Now select the program and execute the program. You are going to have an age group variable. Now I want to use this format in the program. If you want, you can use in a data step. If you want, you can also use it in a proc step. I want to use in a data step. Now data, create a class one, set, I am creating this from the SAS self.class. Then I want to apply the format. Now format. For which variable I want to apply? Age variable. What is the format I created? Age grp dot semicolon. Now write the run statement. Now select this program and execute the program. You will have a class one. In the class one, now this is how we have. Can you see how the age values are displaying now? Young, middle, and adult. You know, in the back age values. Back and age values ఎలా ఉంటాయి తెలుసండి? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 ఉంటుంది. న్యూమరికల్ డేటా ఉంది. మీరు ఏదైతే చూస్తున్నారో ఇది ఓన్లీ టెంపరరీ డిస్ప్లే అండి. Now I want to apply two formats at the same time. Sex కూడా మనం ఫార్మాట్ క్రియేట్ చేసాం కదా. I want to use that format. You can apply how many formats you want. You can apply. You know, sex. So what is the format you create? Remember, we created $sex dot. Now I'm applying two user file formats in the same data set. Can you see? This is how we create a user-defined format. Clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
If the value is 11, 12, 13, I want display as a junior. 14, 15, 16, I want display as a senior. You know what? In the one procedure, we can create a multiple formats. So in the same procedure, we can write, one more statement value. And okay, proc format లోపల మీరు multiple formats కూడా create చేయొచ్చండి. Now this time I want to have a category scat. ఏంటన్న values ఇప్పుడు 11 to 13 ఉంటే to display, I want to display it as a junior. In the same
Junior.
statement, values are from 14 to 16. I want to display it as a senior. Semicolon. Now, in one program, one procedure, we can create a two formats or n number of formats. So now, this time, instead of age group, I want to apply the cat dot. Now, select the program and execute it. You will have a class one. Now, can you see how we have the age values now? Junior and senior. Clear, everybody? Now, this is my data set. This is my data set. I have a data set called school. In that, I have two variables. One is, student ID. Do you know how we have? Can you see here? Here we have marks for 100. Nowadays everybody is following the GP system, and previously we used to have a class system. If anybody has got marks 0 to 34, that means is fail. If anybody has got marks from 35 to 49, what does it mean?
Grade 1, A, B.
35 to 49. That means it is in a third class or ordinary. If anybody got marks from 50 to 59, what does it mean? Anybody? Second class. If anybody has got 60 to 100, what does it mean?
First class.
First class. Now, I do not want to display marks like this one. I want to display the grade, the class. Writing a proc format. Value. I want to have format called grade. I'm not writing a dollar symbol because the marks is a numerical variable. Then what I should write? If the value is from 34, I want to have fail.
Within the parentheses, fail. 35 to 49.
If it is a 35 to 49, I want to have
Third class.
I want to have it as a third class. If the marks are from 50 to 59, I want to display it as a second class. If the marks are from 60 to 100, I want to display the
First class.
I want to display it as in a first class. Now select the program and execute it. Now we are going to have a grade. I want to apply that one. Tell me what should I write? Format. Which data set? Which variable?
Format.
What is the format I create?
Grade. Grade.
Grade dot.
Grade dot.
Now select the program and execute it. So the marks variable contains box. Can you see how it is displaying? But in the back end, you are going to have only numerical data only. Whatever you are seeing, this is only output.
Marks.
Clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then. We'll continue format procedure in tomorrow's class. Okay. See you tomorrow.